2020 income requirements for the K-1 fiancé visa. In order to successfully be approved for a K-1 fiancé visa that allows your fiancé to travel to the USA, U.S. immigration must be confident that you, the U.S. sponsor, have enough financial strength to support and feed your future family. They must be convinced that there is no chance that your new family would need public benefits, such as welfare or food stamps, to survive. It is critical that you understand before you apply what the requirements are in order to avoid surprises and denial. I am Fred Wall, the Visa Coach, and I help you get through a confusing and frustrating immigration process so that you can finally have a happy life together in the USA with your foreign partner. Today I will share with you what the financial requirements in 2020 are and how to demonstrate that you can meet them. And if you can't meet them, well, what can you do? And I'll explain that later. And if your fiancé is from Philippines, Vietnam, Nigeria, or Indonesia, well, please watch to the end, because towards the end of this video, I've got some, well, bad news for those whose income is too low. However, I do offer a solution on what you can do. Now, on to today's topic. What are the income requirements to obtain a fiancé visa in 2020? To be approved as financially eligible, your annual income should be at least 100% of the Department of Health and Human Services, HHS's, poverty guidelines based on the number of people you will have to support. Each year in February or March, the Department of Health and Human Services publishes their poverty guidelines. And as announced in 2020, the guidelines have risen for a household of 2 persons by about $330 from last year. And as of March 2020, for residents in the continental U.S., the financial eligibility thresholds for K-1 visas are as follows. The required annual income is $17,240 for 2 persons in the family or household, $21,720 3 persons, $26,200 for 4 persons, and for each additional person, add $4,480. Now, the financial eligibility thresholds are lower for active military and higher for residents of Alaska or Hawaii. To demonstrate his income, the U.S. sponsor normally provides his or her most recent federal tax return, 3 to 6 pay stubs showing year-to-date earnings, plus a letter from his or her employer confirming the job and what the annual pay is. Cash assets can count as an alternative to income. Now, in some cases, a sponsor's income might be low, but, well, he's got money in the bank. Cash assets can be used as a substitute for annual income. And cash assets are assets which can be easily converted, say sold, to cash. For example, stocks, bonds, certificates of deposit, cash in a checking account can be used. Other assets, but they cannot be easily turned to cash, with the exception of equity in your home, are not usable. And $5 of cash assets are the same as $1 of annual income. So for example, a retired American fiancé visa sponsor living in the continental USA with no income and no dependents would need to have, 5 times $17,240 or $86,200 in cash assets to qualify for the fiancé visa. Alternatively, a combination of income and assets will work. For example, if the American sponsor's income is $10,000 per year, then he would need to have cash assets of $36,200 cash or convertible assets to qualify. This is calculated by subtracting $10,000 from the annual requirement of $17,240, and then the difference, $7,240 times 5 equals $36,200 of cash assets. If the sponsor's income or assets are not enough to achieve the eligibility threshold, he can ask a relative or friend to act as joint sponsor. Just like buying a car, a second person could co-sign your loan. In this case, is financially joint sponsoring your petition. Now, when a joint sponsor is used, the size of the household increases. The combined household for the financial calculations would include the household size of the sponsor combined with the household size of the co-sponsor. For example, A college student petitioning for his fiancée asks his dad to joint sponsor. Both the college student and the father would each complete an affidavit of support. The student's household is just two persons, himself and his fiancée. The father's household would be father, mother, and the two siblings living at home. So we got four. So the combined household would be 6 persons, and the combined income of both sponsor and joint sponsor would need to be, well, at least $36,160 or more. Now, a joint sponsor can be used for most fiancé visa petitions, but not all. Sorry, but the U.S. consulates in the Philippines, Indonesia, Vietnam, and Nigeria do not allow the use of a co-sponsor for a fiancé visa. So if you are applying for a fiancé visa and suspect, well, you probably will need a joint sponsor, then the best thing for you to do before filing any application is to contact the consulate directly and ask them whether the consulate policies permit the use of a financial joint sponsor or not. If they don't allow a joint sponsor and your income and assets won't be enough, well, then the way to proceed is to change your plans. Instead of applying for the fiancé visa with hope to marry in the USA, you marry first overseas, then apply for a spouse visa. The spouse visa application process always allows the use of a joint sponsor, no matter what country your partner is from. This was Fred Wall, the Visa Coach. For more information on immigration and Visa Coach, click here to sign up for our free monthly newsletter and receive Visa Coach's bonus ebooks. Click here for YouTube's recommended next video, here for Visa Coach's playlist of fiancé visa videos, and finally here to subscribe to our YouTube channel.